So Virgo full moon. So Virgo is obviously a feminine sign. It's the sign of the goddess. So basically being perfect onto yourself. Like you are the perfect goddess, the one that's in her strength and beauty and all is, and you're perfect as you are. That's definitely Virgo goddess energy. So this is a reminder that we carry a gift of waiting to be discovered. So it's like that goddess that holds the power and has that special of service gift to give others. Okay, so that's that feminine side. What does it say about males? Okay, well, let's talk about the masculinity part. Okay, so in general, we have balance of masculine and feminine. So you're not alone. Like this is not like your feminine side is going to be basically illuminating right now. And that's also because our sun is in Pisces. Okay, so because of that, our feminine aspects are showing up more, which is around like that compassion, focusing on ourself and like our own nurturing of our body, emotions, and mental energy, right? So really nurturing ourselves, really connecting with that spiritual side of ourselves right now. That's where our focus is. Dreaming. There's a lot of like dreaming energy. So Pisces is all about daydreams and visualizing the best life, but just not necessarily taking action on it, just going into your own space and resting and being in stillness and reflecting over it and just dreaming big. That's where our sun is right now. So then the Virgo is taking on that earth energy that's more tangible. So right now the key is feeling good enough to share our gifts with the world without fear or hesitation. We often do not feel worthy or ready to share our magic with others and end up hiding it away. So I think that has to do with a lot of the shame that's been put in society, as if we are not worthy, but then also like wanting to be normal. There's like this conditioning of like normalizing certain things. So then our unique gifts get hidden because we focus on what's normalized. Okay. And that's just a mindset conditioning that we're all working on undoing right now. So Virgo's energy in its highest state teaches us that we are always ready and always worthy and perfect as is. So I feel like another aspect of society is striving to be better than you are when you already hold the key within you, and it's just learning how to activate those tools that are innate and what your talents are, and then taking off from there and really bring your focus and just strengthening those talents. But knowing that you don't necessarily need to be at a certain place to be of service with those gifts. You already have enough, and you're just going to continue to elevate and evolve off of them. So when Virgo meets the full moon, it's time to release our fear of making a mistake and instead taking a leap of faith. It's a time to shed layers of conditioned patterns that tell us we are not good enough. Hold on, I'm going to tell my dog to stop. Sequoia, stop. She listens to me, so the other ones would not listen. Okay. So it's a time to shed layers of conditioned patterns that tell us we are not good enough. This full moon is a chance to free ourselves from the weight. Okay, now no one's listening. From the weight of perfectionism. So Chelsea, I know that this affects you sometimes, and for myself as well, perfectionism can come in really strongly in a sense that we don't want to share like to the outside world until we feel like we've perfected whatever it is we're focusing on. Okay. Just in general, we kind of get caught up in that, hard on ourselves tendency instead of just trusting and going with the flow and knowing that it's already enough, whatever it is, and keep going. So we kind of get caught up in our head a little bit and focus too much on the details. So notice where that's showing up for you at all. So right now, this full moon is a chance to free ourselves from the weight of perfectionism and transform every mistake into a powerful lesson poised to help us evolve. So if you're feeling guilty around, you know, what mistakes you've made and you're focused on that. Instead, just be like, that was a lesson for me to elevate and better refine myself. And that's what they're there for. We're human, right? So part of the human journey is to make mistakes, to go through that, you know, just that ebb and flow of life. And it's not meant to be perfect. So when we can get out of that mental state that might show up subconsciously and just be that conditioned thought, we could be like, it's already perfect as is, even if it doesn't look like it on the outside. I trust that this is a purpose. So as we make our way through this full moon, feel into any parts of yourself that do not feel worthy. Feel your soul and ask it what it wants to give to the world. Virgo is the sign of service. This energy helps us contribute to healing and raising the vibration of the collective. Start with this feeling of interconnectedness to begin to define what service means to you. Okay, so throughout this full moon, ask yourself what you are here to give. Then ask yourself if you are giving without hesitation or if something is holding you back. Okay, so what are you passionate to give to the world? And are you doing that? And are you doing it in the best way you can? So that's shining a light on it and allowing others to see that gift and choose whether or not that could be of service to them. So we often do not feel worthy of our talent, and we may even suffer from imposter syndrome, thinking we don't know enough or we don't have the right training or credentials to give to others. So this moon is a time to step into your full power and realize your potential. It's a time to shift from the energy of lack, which tells us we are not enough, to the energy of abundance, which tells us we are full. So we don't need anything outside of us to validate or define who we are. So I'll give you a great example for like my journey. You know, I really connect with that shamanic energy and shamanic way of healing. And there are definitely credentials out there. Like I was just talking to a customer today who is choosing to do a shamanic course that's $10,000. And cool, like I think it's awesome. I think she's going to learn a lot. I think it's going to help evolve her on her path. But for me, I don't feel like I necessarily need that right now. And if I was guided to it, I would, but it doesn't make her any better or more talented or anything than me just because she has those credentials. If anything, at this point, I feel like I have more experience. So it's going to take her some time to get into that experience and working with that. So it's just interesting how we, as a conditioned habit, we tend to feel like we need better credentials than those who have those credentials, when it doesn't matter because the value is you. So when you could start to really feel into that and know that you are valuable, and what is valuable is your experience. You could speak to what you've experienced and, you know, the just the knowledge and wisdom you have around whatever that talent is. And the more you own that and step into that, the more you have to give and to be of service of. So mistakes are, where are we here? Where was I at? Okay, so the key to working with this moon is to embrace your mistakes and release fear of making new ones. So mistakes are lessons that teach us about the future. Basically, okay, when we make a mistake, we make a better decision and it keeps helping us refine. So it brings new paths for us to learn about ourselves. So mistakes are simply part of life that all humans experience. So often when we open up and talk about our mistakes, we find that others immediately understand what we have been through. Our mistakes, like many things, connect us. Our mistakes can also become a gift to others. Okay, so as you work with your mistakes this full moon, ask yourself if they are holding you back out of fear of making another one. Have you aligned with the earth element so much that you've become stuck or stagnant in your energy? So that's where we get stuck in that 3D and not lifting up into the higher realms as well. Have you forgotten to flow with life and embrace her rhythm? Feel into the combination of water and earth this full moon, helping to free you of places you are not growing because of fear. Okay, so now is that time to shake it up and just almost like surrender, let go, and allow yourself to head into that evolution for yourself. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the specific energies of Virgo moon and Pisces sun, so you could see how it's showing up in your life and how you can now shift it by having that awareness and knowing that if you are connecting with any lower vibrations, just from your awareness and setting the intentions to shift it, it's going to help you transmute that energy and move into a higher state. Okay, so Pisces and Virgo offer us two different portals to that same energy of spirituality, healing and service. Where Pisces is formless, chaotic, and all encompassing, Virgo is form, order, and refinement. Okay, so you can think of this is like a perfect example. Virgo is very organized and likes to have order. Where Pisces is like, it's a mess and I don't know what to do about this. So I'm laughing because Jade is Pisces and I'm telling you, I can't keep her room clean no matter how hard I've tried. And that girl, you'll walk into her room and I'm like, do you know where this is? And she's like, I don't know. So that's totally Pisces energy. Where Virgo is more like, I'm going to organize my books. I'm going to, like those little things, like really like setting things up or whatever. That's very Virgo. So those are the two energies that we're working with right now, and it's finding that balance. So where Virgo is worldly and connected to the earth, Pisces is otherworldly. Okay, so earth and unseen realms, connected to infinite space. Pisces sees no distinction between us and another. Pisces teaches us that we are all connected through the universal consciousness, with the universe itself living through each one of us. Virgo's energy, however, demands we stay within the boundaries of space, time, and our body. She asks us to define our energy and our world. Virgo also believes we are the universe, but inspires us to create containers through organized practices to help us connect with our most intuitive self using direction and intent. Okay, so yeah, like Britt, like we were talking about today, I feel like for you, it's like you're focusing on that Virgo energy, creating those boundaries of space, and then so obviously the containers. Okay, so Pisces encourages us to not react to emotions, but rather observe the fluctuations of energy and sensations within our body and mind. Pisces surrenders to the unknown and teaches us to be patient as we watch our lives unfold. Virgo, on the other hand, acts. So Virgo understands the flow of the universe, but chooses to provide some direction. She recognizes when boundaries are needed between us and other people. Virgo reminds us that while trust and surrender are important, so are direction and guidance. The universe will respond to deadlines and time limits if we state them. So we do not have to sit around and wait patiently forever. So waiting for our dreams to manifest. So Virgo teaches us that we can make some reasonable demands. We can ask, for example, to see a sign in the next 6 months or have a dream come to fruition within a year. Our job then becomes to trust that what doesn't unfold in our timeline may be an opportunity for redirection. So so now we have, I'm going to talk about the lower vibrations of each sign, but yeah, so as we set intention, and the more I think detailed and specific about certain things, like I don't actually do a good job with that, and I definitely want to get in a better habit around. And I know Bruiser, you're actually good at this because I loved how you did this, but he made timelines and like when he wanted to do a certain thing by a certain time. And I think that is very good to do because then the universe will respond to that. And if it doesn't show up, it's for redirection, which I think, Bruiser, you experienced recently, that redirection. So this is what we're talking about right now. So when we put those intentions out there, it's knowing that we have direction and we also have that surrender and trust and finding that balance, but then continuing to evolve and refine as we go, because we may be redirected or have a new path, but at least we're setting those intentions and we'll meet what is meant for us. or it will show up in our experience within that time. So the low or shadow sides of Pisces includes escapism, addiction, and codependency. These conditions stem from the lack of boundaries between Pisces and the outside world, causing too many emotions. When we align with this side of Pisces, we take on a myriad of external energies. We become unaware of which emotions are our own and which ones belong to someone else. We then seek behaviors that help us drown out all the feelings so we do not have to sort through them, but rather escape them. So, this escapism shows up as unconscious eating, binging television shows, drug and alcohol use, along with the activities that help us numb out or disconnect from the experiences of life. So, the other side of this escapism is to get lost in empathy and feel everything to the point of losing touch with oneself through full enmeshment with the energies of others. So, this is the shadow side of empathy. We can no longer separate our feelings from someone else's. Both of these extreme sides of Pisces can illuminate shadows within ourselves that cause escapism or a lack of emotional boundaries. If you notice either of these behaviors in yourself, go deeper and ask what they tell you about your unconscious. What needs to shift so you can have healthy emotional reactions to your life while understating what feelings are yours and other people's. Do you need boundaries, and how can those boundaries help you manifest your visions? So that goes back to also any attachment bonds that we have to other people. So make sure that you're not allowing another person's energy to bring you down as you're trying to focus on lifting up into those higher states. Yeah, I know for me, I've definitely since last year evolved off those habits for sure, and I'm more mindful of it. But I have in the past definitely connected with those unconscious eating habits was probably the biggest one for me. But I have definitely been more conscious recently, and this I've continued to be during Pisces season so far. But notice where that's showing up for you in any ways. Sometimes we'd like to just shut off when it's not really the best thing to do, especially during this season, because it's the time to be in those emotions. So if we're choosing to shut it off instead of being intentional about it, we're not doing service to ourselves or really the collective, because we're all connected. So Virgo, on the other hand, can be too confining. The low vibrations of this sign are perfectionism, overbearing behavior, and extreme details to spatial configurations. The extreme low or shadow side of Virgo is rigidity and overanalysis to the point of paralysis. When we align with these lower vibrations, we procrastinate from fear of failure. We suffer from anxiety over inconsequential mistakes, and we go over projects needlessly. We also focus too much on time. We never feel like we have enough of it, and we waste time merely worrying about it. Feel into parts of you that align with this side of Virgo. Do you have any shadows in your unconsciousness that cause you to feel not good enough or unworthy? Where do these feelings come from, and what forms the foundation of any perfectionism you experience? And how can you confront feelings of inadequacy to step into your true power? Virgo shadows can show us places of resistance that cause us to stall our dreams and simply not put them out into the world. We never feel good enough, even when the world tells us we are. We feel they are lying and our praise is unwarranted. In working with our shadows that align with Virgo's low side, we need to accept ourselves as is and feel our power to choose our life. We also need to feel our limitation to control everything. Some things in life just happen and nothing we could do. There's nothing we could do to ever control them. It is not our job to create a perfect life. There's no such thing. Our job is to dance what we can control, and understanding that life has its own rhythm and sometimes we just need to flow with it. Okay, so that's that low side of Virgo. And I know there's a lot of people like that. And I'm sure those people are feeling it extra hard. And these are a lot of those people stuck in 3D where they feel like they need to control everything outside of them and what comes their way. Okay, when right now is really a good time to just like chill, let it be, flow with it, set some direction, but not be so rigid about it. As you bring your awareness to Pisces and Virgo's lower vibrations in your own self, you open the door to shift them into higher states. So understanding is the first step of release. As you shift the lower vibrations, you can fully integrate the higher vibrations of Pisces and Virgo. This leads to a non-reactive self who is in full control of their inner and outer worlds. A person who loves and accepts themselves fully, knowing they are part of the vast universe. On this full moon, release the part of you that seeks to control every aspect of life. Feel into where that urge may come from and what shadow it is revealing. Also become aware of what part of you feels unloved and instead show self-love to every aspect of yourself. For a moment, do not wish to change anything about yourself and instead accept everything you are today, even your shadows. Okay, so that if there's any self-judgment coming up, now's that time to basically give yourself grace and permission to let yourself be as you are and go from there. You know, because we tend to feel like we want to be ahead of where we are and in a better place when it's more about relaxing and accepting where we're at.